Hello and welcome. This is Kara, and we are on day 24 of the 100-day challenge. And I think the next couple days we're going to do some clusters. I was watching Cori video from a couple years ago, and she was talking about her system for making clusters. And I said, ooh, I am going to give that a try. So we're going to kind of break it up like she does into different parts. And yeah, so instead of making the whole cluster in one video, I think I'm going to split it up. All right, and before I do that, I wanted to talk about this kit that I've had in my Etsy shop for a while, and I kind of forgot about it. Yeah, I do that a lot apparently. So this one is a cluster kit. So if you are one who's like, yeah, I'm just not a fan of making my own clusters, these clusters are already made for you. And the fun thing is you can print them and then still add them with lace or fabric or whatever, and kind of do that as well. And they look dimensional, I think, but they're just on a printed piece of paper. So this is in my Etsy, and well, I'm going to use these as toppers for the clusters we're going to make. Not all of them, but I'm going to kind of mix these in with them. So some of them are larger, so they could even be like tuck spots or different things in a journal. I'm kind of flip through these. And then we have some smaller ones, and but I think with even adding another layer of paper or lace, I think these would be really fun. So there's a mix. And so then I thought, okay, well, what if I like this, but it's too big for a cluster topper? There's another page. I forget how many. But then I decided, all right, well, what if I print 2 to a page? So that's what they look like, and they're even smaller. So let me show you. Where is this one? So here's, let's see if you can see. Yep. Okay, so here's 1 to a page, and then here this is shrunk down to 2 to a page. So it's getting closer to that size of a cluster topper. So you could use this for something and then print it for a different journal and use the pieces in a smaller version. And then here's that knit or crochet, is that the word? Is it crochet? The crochet piece, hold on. 1 to a page versus 2 to a page, so it's quite a bit smaller. And then I thought, okay, well, what if I want them even smaller? Hold on. Where are they? I did 4 to a page. So here are 4 to a page. So here's this one again. Find the other one. There it is, and here it is. Get these out of the way. So here's 1 to a page, here's 2 to a page, and then here is 4 to a page. So quite a bit smaller, and this is a great size to add to little clusters. And then the smaller ones are really small, which I think is kind of fun. And here I go. So yeah. This one it did 2 of the same, but whatever. So I have a bunch to cut out for my toppers. If I could figure out my scan and cut, I would use that. But I think I'll sit and watch some Netflix and cut some of these out. So anyway, I wanted to let you know about this kit. It is available. If you are part of my newsletter, there is a 25% off coupon. I'll make sure that this kit gets included with that coupon. And if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, I'll put that link in the description and make sure that this is added so you can get your 25% off. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Let me go grab my things and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I've pulled my 2 scrap buckets. These are my larger scraps. And then these are smaller scraps of, you know, the edge cutoffs from book pages. Remember I said hold on to those. And then smaller bits. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if I want to use the bigger. I think some pops of color would be fun. So I'm going to toss a couple of these into this bin. And then this is very thick cardstock. That's $49 in Market. This one might be fun. So I'm going to just take a couple of these from over here and then just add it to this bin so that we're primarily working in one bin. Oh yeah, we need some gingham. Tim Holtz. Okay. I think that is, oh no, we want that. Okay, so we're going to put this on the other table. Okay, so now we have different bits. And what Cori does is, just getting different sizes. Her first step is she takes bits of paper, like we have here, and just glues them together to make the base of her cluster. So I thought, okay, that sounds fun. And we can kind of get into, I'm going to lower you down. Hold on. There we go. And then we can kind of get into a rhythm with that. And then no pressure to decorate them today. We're just going to glue some bits together. Maybe again, you turn on some Netflix or YouTube and just glue the bits. And then we'll do part 2 tomorrow. So let's see. So I'm going to take some of these strips. And Cori likes to do a lot of things in neutral tones. And I just love her style. Love it. I kind of am all over the place. Like I like bright colors and neutral. So, you know, just taking my sizes here. And yeah, so I need glue. Glue's good. I like to use Fabri-Tac. And let's just see what happens. Alright. So this one could use a neutral. You know what? I might need, hold on. Might need some of this. And just some different. And definitely, I'm still trying to figure out my tray situation. So I have things all over. You know, just when you thought you were organized, right? Need some coffee dyed paper. And then we'll need some of this. And then we'll need some of this. Oh, okay. Know when to say when. I think that's the thing. Alright. Looks good. Okay. Let's begin. I need, oh man. I need something, a mat for the gluing. How about this? This will work. Okay. It's a little messy. I'm like cleaning house before the day. Okay. Begin. We'll take some of these pieces and we're going to glue. Here we go. We're just going to glue these on. And so she does a lot of strips. Ooh, do we need to ink this edge? I think so. And we'll make some strips and we'll make some shorter, you know, squatty, square types of pieces. Just all of the things that you might want as a cluster for your projects. Let's And then we're simply going to set it aside. Done. Isn't that nice? No pressure. No pressure. Not having to think of, okay, what am I going to do next? Do I want lace? Do I want... Nope. No pressure here. Not today. Our biggest thing is what strips do we want, or what pieces do we want? Even these scraps are probably... Let's just do a full neutral. With the little pop of pink. Even on the big side. But we're doing it. We're using the scraps. How do you store your scraps? Do you have a bin system? Do you what do you do? I would love to know. Well, and then I know Cori has a bin for her different stages. I'm going to make 2 little ones, one this way. That one. What was I saying? I know that she has bins for the different stages. I feel like I've changed my system so often that I don't have a system. Does that make sense? And a lot of my completed projects that I do for videos, I have in a tub, and I want to go through that tub and kind of get those organized so that instead of just sitting in a tub, I can use them, to embellish other projects, add to journals, that kind of thing, instead of just making them and then tucking them away. That's no fun. That is no fun. I don't want to cover that number, even though I'm sure it will get covered. All right, done. These little cutoffs are the perfect start. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I feel like I'm going to cheat, but that's okay. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to make some strips. And then that could be its own. Let's do that with a few of these. How about? And then if you want to rip, you could rip some too. Different widths. And then let me get my ruler and we'll rip some. This might help kind of narrow down our focus a little bit. That over there. That over there. Okay. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All right, here we go. Let's make some rips this direction, a little wider. And then we can do This is that really thin paper from 49 and Market. Ah, struggling to rip. Maybe I need a bit wider. Let's do this way. Okay, I think I'll hold off on that one. 49 and Market also is thicker, thick. This might need to be, well, it's ripping. Okay. What else do I want? I think I've got a nice stack, so let's, oh, I want this one. Needs some yellow. Okay. Now we're ready. Now we're cooking. Like that. This. And then we'll glue. Ink? Maybe ink. There's no ink on there. I'm shredding. There we go. And then we can glue. I'm gonna glue this on. And glue this one. And then bam, done. Next. Bam, done. There we go. I don't know, 3 feels right, but maybe you want more than 3. It's up to you too. Okay, I'm gonna go work on these and I'll show you when I have a bunch made. Alright, let's take a look at the cluster bases. So we have these. I just kind of got in a groove. So yeah, so then I will let these dry. And then tomorrow we will do the next step of Cori's process. one. And then, of course, you can cut these down if you want smaller ones. But yeah, tried to do all of the colors in the rainbow. I might have missed a couple, I'm not sure. There's some purples. I did go and cut a few more pieces and rip a few more pieces. We have our reds. This one. And some greens. All ready for whatever journal project might be in the future. Purple, some yellows here. So yeah, my bases are all ready for tomorrow's step. Okay. I hope this shorter video was okay, and I hope you make some of these with me. And also, if you decide to get the cluster kit, a little fussy cutting might be in our future. Okay, so we'll let these dry, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next step. Okay. Have a wonderfully crafty day. Bye-bye.